Well, hello and thank you for joining me for another Alex on Tech and ITY TV interview. Today I'm joined by Patrick Elliott, the CEO and co-founder of computer vision startup VisualCortex, and David Emery, the national manager for Servian, Australia's largest data consultancy. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time, yeah. Now, as a 900-person strong organization, I know that many among ITY's audience will have heard of Servian. So we might start with you, Pat. I understand that VisualCortex has just signed a partnership agreement with Servian. So can you please tell me what VisualCortex does and what that agreement entails?
Sure. First of all, VisualCortex basically turns video into data. So we capture and harness video, whether it's live or archived video, and we transform that into data that can be used to either drive immediate actions or further insights. And so the whole concept of grabbing all this, harnessing this new incremental data stream gives organizations more opportunity to have more of a holistic data set to make decisions from.
And David, I'd like to pull you in at this point. Can you give me a quick overview of Servian and how the field of computer vision fits into Servian's broader service offerings?
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Yeah, so Servian, as you mentioned, we're a 900 strong consultancy, leading cloud and data consultancy in Australia and New Zealand. We're actually part of the broader Cognizant group. And while we look at data through many lenses. So we build cloud data platforms, we look at how we drive AI/ML use cases on them, and then we actually look at how we leverage that data in digital channels or to drive efficiencies back through the business. So we work across that full spectrum of data, from its generation to capture to utilization. In terms of video analytics, we really see that as the enhancement of what we can do with that data. So it's about getting the additional data sets in to actually inform us more of what's going on, but also then being able to leverage that data and enhance through the rest of the information we know within a business to enhance decisions and actions we take.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Pat, simply put, why is the Servian partnership important to VisualCortex and why Servian?
Sure. Part of our go-to-market strategy is to really leverage a very strong ecosystem. So it's important to have an ecosystem of partners who have technological capability, but also have trusted relationships with the market. Therefore, Servian is an ideal partner for us. They've been doing data and analytics for the last decade and a half. They already have a very strong understanding of computer vision. But more importantly than that, when you implement a computer vision scenario or use case, there's a lot of integration that's required, including integration of cameras, integration with other systems that may be in place, and more importantly, in line with Servian's background, integration with other data sets. Servian is an expert in leveraging data. Having the incremental feed coming from video to combine with other data sets is really basically their forte. So they really complete our solution set and take it to market with us.
Yeah, and David, there are plenty of companies doing interesting work with machine learning and video. So why did Servian choose to partner with VisualCortex? I mean, from what we just heard, there's a very good synergy, but what's your explanation?
Well, there's a couple of different sides to it. There's the complexity and depth and quality of the models, and that's where a lot of people focus on. Mm-hmm. What VisualCortex brings is the platform approach that lets us get started quicker, lets us actually start with what can actually be the end productionized state rather than speculative POCs that then kind of dissipate away. So VisualCortex brings in that platform that we're operating on so that any of the experimentation and proof of concepts are operating in an environment that can actually persist as the ongoing platform. So it gives us kind of an end state right at the start.
And Pat, here's a two-part question for you. When did people and organizations start analyzing video? And how are customers using VisualCortex's video intelligence platform today? What types of challenges are they solving and what are the benefits that they're achieving?
Sure. Well, video analytics have actually been around a lot longer than most people realize. It actually began back in 1969 when New York City installed cameras on its municipal building. Most of the analysis at that time was manual, but the concept of collecting data from video had begun. In fact, at the time, they used to refer to it as VCA, or video content analysis. Today, we're actually on the fourth generation of video analytics. So we're really able to leverage a lot of different computer vision models. when we look at our local market opportunities and the customers we're working with, obviously we're under NDA with a lot of our customers. Mm-hmm. However, we've got 3 industries that we could talk about. We've actually done a joint project with Servian on a government transport organization where we were looking at video and looking at patterns of behaviors and able to analyze and give them more insights into the type of traffic or even violations of, say, vehicles going into non-public areas. Another example would be in the commercial space, where we're working with a large commercial property manager, or in the retail space as well. And we actually have quite a few different use cases in that area where we're capturing combination of traffic from a human traffic, so foot traffic, that's very important in retail spaces, and also vehicle traffic, and identifying the trends and the volumes of people and vehicles that are going through car parks or going down retail spaces. And the third use case is another Australian iconic organization, more in the direct customer retail, and they're looking at the retail analytics side of how can we improve the customer engagement? How often are customers standing there before getting a service? How long are they waiting in queues to be served or look at products? And how can we improve their customer experience by really giving them like a tailored customer experience when they're in the shop? So learning from the way people behave, learning from the way the staff interact with our customers, and then improving on that collaboratively.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, having all those cameras, it's definitely something that is modern day. Previously would have to have had people out there reporting back to you, but it's all analyzable, and you can apply all those machine learning and AI techniques to it. But David, I understand that computer vision is an area of expertise that Servian has been investing in for some time. So I mean, why is that? I mean, the answer is obvious, I guess. But what makes video analytics so transformative from your point of view?
Yeah, we've kind of been through a few different iterations where large new data sets were unlocked and allowed us to understand a lot more of what was going on in the organization. If we kind of think of clickstream data from the web, it actually gave visibility of web behavior and user behavior on websites and in apps. If we think through sort of the focus around SIEM in the cybersecurity space, log data, and a whole range of other behaviors gives us great threat detection that we didn't necessarily have before, and unlocks a whole new view on our business. We see video analytics as the same thing. As Pat mentioned, in a whole range of use cases, it actually gives us all these new data points that weren't systematically captured before, and hence weren't available to us to analyze or use. So it really unlocks that ability to bring in a whole range of new data sets, coupled with everything else we know about our business, and make better informed decisions about how we operate our business.
Yeah, there's no question that being able to analyze all of that data has just opened up so much more information, so much more insight. I mean, even with wearables, just the ability to track your own heart rate and other metrics is just something that was science fiction in the past, and now we just all take it for granted. So this is something no doubt businesses will be taking for granted very soon if they aren't already. But David, sticking with you for a moment, what are some of the opportunities that you see organizations attempting to exploit by harnessing video analytics technology? I mean, you probably just mentioned some of them right there, but as Patrick did, are there any success stories that you can point to?
Yeah, some of the other areas outside of what Pat's already spoken about, things like occupational health and safety. So there is a lot of movement of people in environments, warehouses, factories, on construction sites, for example, people moving around, doing things, data that's not captured. There's near misses, there's a worker safety is very high on the priority list in all those environments. And it's almost impossible in any other mechanism to really capture the wealth of data you need to understand what's happening without large numbers of supervisors standing around. And even then, there's a good chance that they're going to miss those sort of incidents or not have the ability to respond in time. So that video analytics play, being able to actually recognize what's happening, recognize where there's issues, be able to improve and enhance worker safety, that's a really good societal impact that we can get out of video analytics, as well as a lot of the sort of retail focused aspects that Pat mentioned as well. And on the societal government side, that ability to actually understand and provide better services, whether it's in the traffic management or public transport optimization, things like that, where there's more data points coupled with the other data sources that now exist, video analytics can really unlock a lot of new opportunities in those spaces.
And so, Pat, what are some of the common challenges organizations struggle with, when attempting to harness video analytics technology?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges is they probably get a bit ambitious, too ambitious at the beginning. If you walk into any public area or retail environment, there are a lot of cameras. And a lot of those cameras were put there for different reasons or one particular use case. So the idea of having more of an intelligent platform and being able to leverage the cameras as sensors and then using that to be able to address the things that are of interest to us and making sure that those cameras are looking at the right things, they're able to see the right things, they have the right lenses, they have the right focal points. Those are very important aspects. And the other thing is that they're not disposable. So I think when we heard David earlier talking about cars and vehicles from an operational health and safety, you can have the same cameras that's interested in the vehicles as objects and the people as objects, and looking at how close they come together from an OH&S perspective. So it's having the ability to actually glean new outcomes and new insights from the same things that we can see and leveraging the video to do that differently. I think a lot of the business cases that are put together aren't strong enough at the beginning, and people are trying to find a use case for it. So it's actually having a really good sponsor in the business that understands what they're trying to achieve, and then making sure we align to the goals that they want to achieve in that process. And then one last thing, and I know this probably put a few people off, is that too often it's been catered or tailored to the data scientists. And part of this is demystifying it and saying it's really another incremental source of data, and let's add it into the mix of data so that business stakeholders and business users can leverage it in their decisions. So you try to make it simpler to access.
Yeah. I know that anyone who's got a home camera system like myself, the wireless cameras, and it's got the AI inside of the app that tells you when there's a person going by or a car going by or a package delivered. I mean, that's the same sort of thing, but on a much smaller, more personal scale. You guys are able to do it at massive scale to deliver businesses, much more insight and hopefully to deliver better service to their customers and better OH&S and all the rest. But David, broadly speaking, what's your view on the state of the global analytics market? How do you see it evolving, and what are some of the major obstacles that you see facing the sector?
Yeah, from a video analytics market, there's a lot that's really focused on point solutions or point use cases to some of what Pat discussed before. And that's where I think we'll have to see this standardization to actually bring that platform approach, which means that we're not building point solutions for some around security, some around health and safety, some around retail or the business side. So seeing the platform approach and then leveraging different functional models on top of that to serve different use cases is really where we need to see things pivot. A lot of that focus really comes to bring the data back up to the business and to somewhat Pat was talking about, democratizing the data to make it available to the business to take action, and getting past the early, everything's a POC, everything's a bit of a test, we don't really know it, don't really understand it, and realizing that this is something that's here to stay. So how do we actually build this for the future and then iterate over the use case and continually find more value? The other area that obviously features heavily in conversations here is around the privacy aspects. So doing these in point solutions means we've got big deviations in how we manage privacy or how we manage security, versus bringing it from a platform approach means that enterprise can take a single common controlled and governed approach to video analytics, which I think is actually really critical to the greater success here, especially as data privacy and consumer privacy is very important.
Yeah, well, it sounds to me as though this platform is a lot more sophisticated and mature than people might realize. Pat, in the case of VisualCortex, where is all the data being processed in the platform? Is it in a data center? Is it on device? Is it in hybrid clouds? Is it on the edge?
Very important question. One of the things that's always at the forefront of our minds is privacy and security. So we actually, first of all, I guess, once we process the video and turn it into data, we discard the video and leave it in its natural state. So either in the video management system, we don't create a copy and keep a lingering copy. Mm-hmm. The data that we have is then used for analytics perspectives, right, and insights. The actual solution set is designed that it can run on the cloud or on an edge device or on premise and in a hybrid manner. So we let the customer decide where they want the processing to occur. And even in some of the instances, our customers have some on-site edge servers, and they also have their own instance of cloud solutions that they combine, and we just allow our solution to run in it. We're also working on a full SaaS solution that'll be coming out in 2023 that will cater more to the masses. With the data processing, there is a big reason why the edge servers exist in this environment, because cloud gives you scalability and elasticity. Edge servers give processing that's really close to the camera and to the source, so it's up very fast when it comes to video processing, and it gives people that extra sense of security when they know it's on a system that's isolated from the cloud, for example. And so it gives them the option of putting it where they need to.
Well, Pat, I also understand that typically computer vision solutions require expensive cameras and bespoke hardware, which can be a barrier. So this is an issue that you say that VisualCortex negates. So how so?
Well, when it comes to cameras, we're quite camera agnostic. That being said, you think of it just as a human, right? If you see something really well, you can glean more information from it. Same thing with the cameras. So what we do is we say, if you have an intelligent camera, that's great. We can take advantage of that in our platform. But a lot of these investments have already been made. So we take the camera view that they have. Obviously, they're varying quality, depending on the lens, varying speeds, frames per seconds. And we then take that video feed and process it in the platform. So we put the intelligence in the platform, which allows them to get a better return from their past investments. They don't have to go out and put all new cameras everywhere. It means that camera-specific models that are like an in-camera detection that's very specific doesn't exist in our world, because you can run multiple models for the same video feeds or different cameras. So you really have a platform approach to that. And it allows also the customers to leverage more commodity hardware when it comes to even edge servers and cameras as well. So we put the intelligence in the platform that allows to take advantage of the strengths of the hardware and the cameras that we see as sensors.
Yeah, it just allows people to get going faster no matter what environment they have. If they've got cameras, they can just go and upgrade in the future as requirements see fit. Yeah. So, David, how do you hope that Servian and the VisualCortex partnership will disrupt the commercial computer vision market moving forward?
Yeah. There's a lot of areas that I think we can actually really impact, but the big challenge is speed to market and speed to value through the solution. And I think this is where our partnership works. We've got the strong data capability and the understanding of how to leverage that data through the business, and VisualCortex brings a platform on which to get use cases up and running. So we're really focused on the use cases rather than the POCs and then speculatively trying to figure out how we engineer that into a system. So we're coming in with a systemized approach to how we treat video analytics use cases, which means we're set up to iterate through those use cases much faster, which means business get value from it much faster.
Yeah. Well, as you were saying, you've both got customers already using these technologies. You're ready to go. It's not a proof of concept. You're ready for business, and you've got customers, and people should contact you if they would like to get going. But Pat, how do you see VisualCortex evolving over the next couple of years? Obviously you'll have ever improving software and algorithms and more. But what's next? International expansion, or I know you mentioned that there's the new SaaS software, so always upgrades. But tell us more.
Well, the first thing we have to do is we have to take our foundation customers, those organizations we're working with now, and we have to really deliver. We have to make them very successful. By making them successful, it actually does give us that foundation to expand. We plan to expand to North America in April next year, 2023, and then we'll go into Europe via Ireland later in the fall, in the northern fall. And again, we will be taking the models and use cases that we've gained experience with over the last year and a half, and by then it'll be 2.5 years, and we will be replicating those successes around the world. The other thing that's really important is that we stay very focused on outcomes, and as we say here, we don't chase every fire truck, right? And we let our direction be not dictated, but highly guided by our customers. We're technologists. We have great developers, great technology, but what's really important is how you marry that to a customer's requirements. So the customers really help define our direction and tell us what's important. And then the most important element aside from the customers, is that ecosystem that we wrap around ourselves. And that's where the partnerships like Servian are essential. We have great technology that have customers' needs, but it's the partners that bring it together and apply it in an application-specific way that delivers an outcome. So having those repeatable partnerships as well is very important to our success, our customer success.
Yeah. Reminds me of when Apple was saying that there's 1,000 no's for every yes. They don't go chasing after all the fire trucks either. And now, Pat, what advice do you have for organizations looking to harness video analytics technology? Now, what critical success factors do you recommend that they consider?
Yeah, I think it's have a measured approach. Figure out what it is that they want to achieve, narrow it down. As they say in cricket, get some runs on the board. Yeah. Make sure they have some understandings and learnings from that, and then they can let the scope creep a bit. Make sure there's business value. Again, it's not a kick at the can or a cool project to do. It should align to something that can deliver business value. And there are so many use cases that make this not only effective, it could actually be revenue generating opportunities for our customers that we've identified quite a bit. Be very truthful with yourselves and your ecosystem around what are the efforts and steps that are going to be required in the rollout strategy. There are too many situations that we've seen in the market where people have just done a proof of concept or an example or a white paper. When it comes to productionizing this, it has to be really accurate, especially if it's OH&S and you got people's lives and safety that's in play. So having a very high quality and consistent enterprise level system that you're delivering is extremely important. Strong communication throughout with the stakeholders at the levels, the people that are technical and delivering, and the stakeholders who are signing the checks and getting the approvals, because they also have stakeholders internally. And then stick to what the definition of, from the very beginning, what are the things that are important? Sticking to that and making sure you're delivering. It's easy to get excited and run off in tangents, but you got to stay back to the focus of why are we doing this? What are we delivering and who are we delivering it for? As a collective, from the customer, the partner, and ourselves.
Yeah, and now that the pandemic is effectively over, international travel is back. I mean, there's more people out and about than ever before. And there's plenty of use cases where this technology could be really being used to achieve actual, business outcomes and change. David, anything to add here from your point of view?
I think Pat did a really good job of summarizing there. I would say seek value and iterate is really important concept in here. Everything in video analytics, we're breaking new ground. So we might get 80% of the answer right. That's 80% more than we had before. So get in, get started, and then iterate over it. As Pat said, maybe the cameras aren't the best, but it's a good start. And once you've proven the value there, that might justify investment in better cameras. There's lots of reasons to not get started in this space, but there's so many more to actually just get in and get started and then iterate as you continue to develop more value.
So just my final two questions to both of you. I always like to ask if you could please share some of the best advice that you've personally received in life to help you get where you are today. So Pat, let's start with you.
I don't think if I received it, but it's probably more I just was fortunate to live it. I grew up in a very large family, and we had this very foundational belief that if you wanted something to happen, you had to make it happen, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to do it for you. That being said, there's power in numbers. So you don't have to do it on your own. And I think for me, that's always been a big mantra in my life, where if you surround yourself with the right people, and you have the right kind of partnerships and relationships, and including with customers and trust, then you're really on the right journey to success. That, and the other thing is just, I think you treat people fairly. You expect to be treated fairly, and you treat people fairly, because at the end of the day, life is too short, but memories are not.
And David?
I'm just thinking through the life is too short, but memories are not. But for me, I'd say it's never stop learning. As a mantra, it really, we're in an industry where it's actually a requirement to never stop learning because the industry keeps evolving. Mm. I think it's the best focus for people in their career is to keep looking at the next thing, and what am I doing to set myself up to understand what that next initiative, that next wave looks like. We have it embedded as a DNA in our culture at Servian, and I think that is a really critical thing to anyone getting to where they want to be.
And to both of you, what is your final message to ITY viewers and readers, and to your current and future customers and partners?
Look, for us, this computer vision, machine learning, AI part of the market is today estimated to be worth $6 billion. By 2030, it's estimated to be worth between 34 and 40 billion. We already see so many different use cases and so many different requirements, but it's constantly evolving at a leapfrog pace, right? So back to David's comment about constantly learn, constantly stay fresh. Everybody's going to have to do that in this space. So our mission is to make sure our customers and our partners are at the forefront of their capability. And to do that, we have to make sure that we're always improving our platform and capability to serve them, ensuring our models stay fresh and don't fail. Like even with the car model, there's so many new car models coming out in the market. We're going to have to keep very fresh models. So it's just staying ahead of the curve so we can help our customers and partners stay ahead of the curve.
And David?
Yeah, I think there's market challenges and all sorts of things coming down the track, and I think the focus on value is really important. So setting yourself up with repeatable capability that you can iterate over is a real crucial aspect to getting through times where funding challenges might exist in businesses, capital might not be as readily available. I think that's a really important consideration for when you're kicking off initiatives. How do I see this persisting? How do I see this building beyond the proof of concept? And I think that's what our partnership here brings, is a really great way to get started on your video analytics journey and then be set up for success in the future.
Well, Patrick Elliott, CEO and co-founder of computer vision startup VisualCortex, and David Emery, the national manager partner for Servian. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. I see that good things are in your future, and I hope we can speak again.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
Bye-bye.
Yes.